Don't place a trade based on what you're seeing in this video because there is no guarantees of making a profit in the market. It takes you a long time to become a good trader. So this video here is just to educate you to become a much better trader. Traders, I'm running a free training today and you're going to learn my #1 trading system that gets up with a 90% success rate and how to find these trades using a secret scanning tool and how I can actually have all my trading done in less than 1 hour per day. So I'm running this free web class today. So go to johnslivetraining.com or the very first link in the description. Okay, so let's have a look at gold first. And let's actually bring up just some long-term charts, a longer-term chart perspective. From a longer-term chart perspective, there is a couple of different levels that are really starting and really likely to come into play. Now, I titled this Silver and Gold, It's Going to Be Big. And why I titled the stream today and why I titled this session today that, and why I believe that this is going to surprise everyone is why this is going to be so big. And if you understand, like I'm a technical trader, right? I review the charts. The thing is this, guys, is that the reason why this is going to be so big, and what I mean by it's going to be so big and it's going to surprise everyone, is the fact that what's likely to happen over the next 5 to 10 years, right? You need to be patient and position yourself. The biggest wealth opportunities are position yourself. What's going to happen over the next 10 years. And then benefiting from that, and just, you know what, and then just going with that. That's how big wealth is created. Big wealth is created. And so a lot of people say, "Oh, John, you said the big move's going to come," and then like the next day we have nothing, and then we have a little down day. It's like when you're talking about long-term perspective, guys. Okay, if you seriously want to generate big wealth from these markets, then position yourself. It's like buying a property, right? They say property on average, here in Australia anyway, on average doubles every 10 years. Well, you want to look at your positions, these long-term positions, as that. So over the next 10 years, the reason why you say over the next 10 years, because you never know when, it could be 2 years from now, things could start to really, really kick in big time. It might take 3 years. You just want to make sure you're in there, so when it does happen, you're not quickly scrambling to try to become part of the mania. That's what I mean by it's going to be big. And so as long as you're positioned well, oh my goodness, right? Because what's going to happen here? We do know, right? They're going to keep printing money to as much as they can, right? And you do realize they're not going to pay all the money back, right? There's all this debt, they're not going to pay it back. So what's gonna happen? Debt defaults, debt restructuring, all that sort of stuff is gonna happen. Now, when you start to see things like that, where we see this, what's gonna happen here, and that in a turn, because they're printing so much money, and because they won't be able to pay it, they won't pay it back. Guess what's going to happen? They're gonna default, and more than likely, the US will not be the reserve currency anymore. Now that may take 2 years to start to unfold. It may take another 5 years for things to, and then there's going to be we might be shifting into a digital currency. I don't know. Or maybe China, the rising power, maybe that is going to be the currency of the world, right? So if we understand this, then when that happens, when things going to happen, and when especially when the dollar starts to fall and all that sort of stuff, guess what's going to happen to these metals? Oh my goodness, guys! Especially when they start to default on all this debt. Now again, guys, when I say default, that could be 5 years from now when they get to that point where they just can't do anymore. They can't print any more money because they can't keep up with the interest rate payments, and then they're going to default. They can't keep printing and just printing as much as they can, as much as they want, because there is a ceiling there, right? There is a ceiling there of how much they can do before they start to default on that. And that's why looking at like silver and gold, especially like the metals, oh my goodness, guys, this is just gone like, it's incredible. It's going to be massive. It really, really is. And that's why fundamentally, guys, long term, if you position yourself properly, again, I say that this is going to be big, but my long-term picture is just like, you can see everything. The next 10 years is going to be this. US currency is going to be devalued so much because of the printing of money. Gold and silver are going to be going through a massive boom when that happens, because people are fearful like crazy, and we're going to see probably one of the biggest bull markets in gold and silver than we've ever seen in our lifetimes. Probably even much bigger if I go down to the GLD. Probably even much bigger than what we saw back here in 2011 and 2012. Right? But when is that going to happen? Now remember, guys, I'm looking at a weekly chart here, right? So that takes time, right? It takes, what is that? That takes a good couple of years for that to completely unfold. This like, oh, it's going to be a big move. John, it didn't do much today. Are you serious now? No. So that's why I say, guys, like you can generate so much wealth over this next decade, can create so much wealth for you if you just position yourself properly for that. And what that means is be part of the metals. Be part of the metals. Especially gold, right? It's like, oh my goodness, because they know that, you know a couple of things are going to happen. They're going to keep printing more money. They're going to keep dropping interest rates, and they're probably it's going to come a point in time where they won't be able to pay it back, and they're going to have to default on that because they won't even be able to keep up the interest payments. And then from that, guys, oh my goodness, it's going to be so exciting. So position yourself, guys, right? You position yourself. Position yourself so over the next 10 years, as this is unfolding, you can be part of it. Don't be trading it, be an investor in it. What I mean by that is like, get involved with it now, but you need to make sure you're putting money in that you don't need this money, right? But over the next 10 years, I do believe that if you think Bitcoin was big, wait till you see what's going to happen over the next 10 years. And the thing is, guys, we just never know we never know when that's going to happen. But it's going to be so massive. It's going to be so enormous. And that's why I'm so excited right now, guys, because my trading opportunities where I'm in and out from 2 to 5 days, I'm trading, I'm very active there, right? Active income, bam, bam, bam. So excited. And then the long term is so clear what's going to happen that once you start to position yourself both ways, I have a very good, successful trading system, and I love trading it. I have my losses, yes, they're small, and I have profits, they're big. Thank you very much. Trading income. And then I have my long-term stuff. And as this thing completely unfolds, I keep doing my trading income, and then I just keep loading up long-term and to benefit from the biggest move in history. And that's just what I'm doing right now, because I can see, especially with gold, right? Gold is like, oh my goodness, gold is going to soar, especially when they do eventually go like negative interest rates. Can you imagine what gold's going to do? Right? Can you just imagine what gold's going to do? Gold's just like, oh my goodness. Now people say, John, what should I do? Should I do the physical, or should I do the digital, or whatever? Right? It's like it doesn't matter what you do. Just make sure that if you want to benefit from this, just be part of the next 10 years for this. Right? Now some people, and then there's some people, it depends on where you are, right? Depends on your camp. Do you actually want to hold the physical? Then do that. Or there's some people in the camp say, you know what, you don't really need to hold the physical, just continue it, just buy the actual the gold itself, right? And then that way you can get in and get out very quickly on a liquid basis. So, and that might mean even just buying the GLD, right? And people say, oh my goodness, John, it's the GLD is just the GLD, but it's not. It's not the real thing and stuff like that. But at least the GLD, right? You're riding along. The GLD right now is riding along with. It's going to continue to go with what gold is doing. So you can benefit from gold in price without buying the physical if you want to do that. So guys, I'm really, really, really excited. And that's the reason I'm so excited for both these things, guys. Because long term, it's so clear what's going to happen. Just position yourself and be patient. Because 10 years will come and go. And you can do so well out of this if you're patient and prepared for it. It is all in these markets, right? But as I said before, that you don't want to put all your money into this and then have nothing to live on, right? It's not like that, right? It's putting a portion of your account, putting some of your account into these long-term investments. You say, what? This is a long-term investment. I don't need this money now, and I'm good to go, right? And I'm definitely not saying load 100% of your portfolio into the metals right now and go do that. I don't do that myself. I actually split my things up 50-50. 50% of my capital is deployed into long-term stuff, such as what I'm talking about right now. And then the other 50% is now deployed into trading for income. And then what I do is every 2 or 3 months, I will 3 months, sometimes every 6 months, I will look how much money I've actually made, and I'll look and the profits I've made from my actual trading income, because I generate an income from that. And on the low end, if I have a really good, say, 3 months, or then I take some of that profit that I've made, and guess what? I go put it back over into the investing account, long-term account, and then I will then start to buy more up long-term, and then I'll just keep going and going and going and going and going from that. And that's how I do my stuff. Trading for income, right? Because it's two different styles of skills there. One, it's just understanding where we are long term, position yourself. The second one is just trading the markets and understanding when trading the markets, you're looking for an exact pattern. You're looking for the exact candle to get in. You're looking for all these things, right? That's trading for income. You're looking for the exact thing. But investing, I don't really care. I'm not looking for the exact thing. I'm just like, I'm in, let's go for the next 10 years. Fantastic. And so that's basically what's going on there right now and you can see here with gold. Gold is continuing to pull back here. Let me bring up the actual GLD here. The actual gold price itself. You can see how that even if we do continue to get a bit more of a pullback, we've got this whole 1400 level here, which is a very, very, very significant level for the actual gold market. If I look at the silver market, if you see on the short term, silver actually had a bit of a drop down. So I do see silver actually continue to have a bit more of a fall where we are right now on a short term basis. But long term, guys, as I said before, long term, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Now, guys, if you'd like to learn when I said before about trading the markets, if you'd like to learn how I trade the markets, then join me on my next web class at johnslivetrain.com, and I'll teach you how I trade the markets. Investing is a completely different story, but how I trade the markets, what sort of pattern I look for, what sort of entry setups I look for, and all that sort of stuff, how I scan the markets, all that sort of stuff. So just go to johnslivetrain.com and you'll be able to see all that from there. So we can see what's happening here even with the gold market, right? If I bring up the SLV as well too. The SLV right now. So this is what's happening right now on the SLV, right? Isn't this just, oh my goodness, guys. It's really, really, really incredible, guys. And it's just like, I see this thing like down here at this $15 level on average for quite some time. This whole sideways period here, guys, this is the calm before the storm. It really is. It is the calm before the storm. And it's so exciting because once you can clearly see what is going on, you can position yourself and you know by the end of the next decade, you are going to be doing so well financially because you just positioned yourself and then let the thing go. And whenever it kicks in, wherever things happen, you're not trying to time the market. You're just there. Oh my goodness. Then, especially if you can, then on top of that, if you can start to really learn the skill of trading the markets for active income, because that's a different skill, then yeah. Because see how they're different, right? Trading is like I'm looking for my number one pattern and my number one setup, and I'm looking to trade that for income, right? So that's there. But investing long term, right? Then you you need to look at the macros, and you look at the cycles, and you look at the fundamentals, and how things are going to play out. Then just position yourself and say thank you very much for your homemade biscuits. Kiss your babies, say thank you to your wife, because this is going to be the next decade can be either the worst decade for you or the best decade for you. especially with my private clients, right? With my private clients, I'm doing this stuff. I'm doing these sessions for them all the time, and keeping on top of them to make sure that, with my private clients, I'm making sure that they continue to do really well trading for income. But secondly, being prepared and understanding this sort of stuff, because it is going to be so incredible, so incredible. And the reason why it's so incredible is because people say, "Oh, the Big Short," right? "Oh, the Big Short," blah blah blah. Who cares about the Big Short, right? What about the big boom? And all you need to know, right, is like the big boom, you're now prepared. You now know ahead of time what's likely to happen. So, yes, the Big Short, they predicted the Big Short and so on and so forth. Now, do you realize Michael Burry, he actually started, I think it was 2005. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Put in the chat box if I'm wrong here. But I think it was 2005, when Michael Burry actually started to place a bet against the housing market, essentially, with the banks. 2005. You do realize, right? It wasn't until like the middle of 2008 when things really started to heat up. See how patient he was? Years, right? 5, 6, 7, 8. What's that? 3 or 4 years. And he was so patient for what? The big bang. And then it happened, all unfolded, and guess what? He just lapped it up. He said, "Thank you very much for your homemade biscuits." And because he just saw what was going to happen, right? That's the same mentality and same analogy you need to apply to these long-term investing trades, right? Now, guys, all I'm saying is this, right? Now, anything can happen, right? There is a chance that this doesn't happen and they somehow do whatever, right? So there is a risk to all trading. It's not a guaranteed. So you must understand that as well too. But there's a very, very, very high probability that this is what's likely to happen. And if you imply the mentality of Michael Burry, I'm getting in now, but I know the next 3-4 years, oh my goodness, this is going to be crazy. Then that's the mentality you take, right? That's the mentality you take from these positions and say, oh my goodness, bring it on, right? Bring it on. Bring on the next decade. So yeah. So anyway, guys, so that's silver and gold itself. I'm just so excited for that. Let me bring up. So on a short-term basis, guys, let's have a look here. Let's have a quick look here on the short-term basis. On a short-term basis, I see SLV. I see SLV getting down towards at least this $15 level here. We had a bit of a breakout just recently, a nice volume increase. So we're probably going to head down towards this $15 level here on a short-term basis with silver. Especially if you actually look at the silver price, you can see how we actually broke down. So yeah, we're probably likely to at least have at least a bit of a downfall, a bit of a push to the downside now on a short-term basis here, right? Again, I'm talking about the next week. What I said, remember what I said before, right? The two different stories here. One is, 4 or 5 years. And same with the gold as well too, right? Gold is sort of just really, again, gold is holding quite strong, especially in this channel through here. So let's bring up this last sort of 3 months. We can see how we're just sort of still stuck in this overall channel. Very, very unpredictable action, right? Up and down, very volatile. We're not really trending. We're not really moving. So it's very, very, very unpredictable. I definitely want to start to see this thing break out and start to do it. Now, on a short-term basis, guys, we could actually even see this thing pull back right back down towards these $1,400, $1,500 level through here. So guys, if you'd like to learn how I trade the markets and how my trading system and how I scan and all that sort of stuff, then go to johnslivetraining.com and join my next web class. You're going to absolutely love it. So, and on the web class, guys, I teach you what to look for so you can start to apply it to your own trading today.